Night at the Haunted Manor, a spooky adventure. In the evening, 5 friends, Alex, Irina, Sam, Maria, and Dan, went to an abandoned manor house standing on the outskirts of a small New England town. The neighborhood residents told horror stories about the house, but the young people decided to check them out for themselves. The manor looked gloomy. Tall trees surrounded the house, their branches like curled fingers reaching for the half-rotten walls, and the empty windows seemed like black failures. "This is going to be a great adventure," Alex said as they approached the manor house with lanterns and sleeping bags in their hands. Still laughing, they stepped inside. An old living room greeted them with dusty carpets and gnarled paintings on the walls. A small fire in the fireplace lit the dim interior. At first, everything was going well. They told scary stories, laughed, and sang songs to the guitar. But soon the fun was replaced by wariness. Strange sounds filled the house. Rustles, creaks, and quiet footsteps coming from the dark corridors began to disturb them. Irina was the first to notice strange writings on the walls that had not been there when they arrived. "Don't go on. She will come." Dan, the boldest among them, suggested they explore the house. They began to survey the rooms, illuminating them by the dim light of lanterns. Maria found an old diary with entries about creepy rituals and invocations of dark forces. "These aren't just scary stories," she whispered, shivering with terror. Suddenly, a rumbling sound came from the basement. Dan decided to check what was going on down there, but as soon as he got down, there was his piercing scream. His friends rushed to him, but found only his flashlight on the floor. One by one, they began to disappear. Alex in the library, Sam in a room on the second floor. Irina and Maria were left alone, feeling fear gripping them. Irina and Maria rushed through the corridors, looking for an exit. The house seemed to come alive, the walls shifting, turning it into a labyrinth. They heard muffled moans and whispers coming from everywhere. Suddenly, Maria felt an invisible force pulling her backwards. She screamed, but Irina could only watch helplessly as her friend was dragged away into the darkness. Left alone, Irina rushed toward the exit. A figure in a white dress with empty eyes stood in her way. She whispered something, and every word echoed in Irina's head, driving her crazy. Unable to bear it, Irina fell to her knees as the ghost drew closer, extending its transparent hands toward her. The next morning, the locals found Dan alone. He was wandering through the forest, smiling madly and muttering something about shadows and a curse. He couldn't tell what had happened to his friends. The manor was deserted again, leaving behind another dark secret.